Hello everybody, Brook, Margaret and Sergi from Stickmen Media.
Not quite.
Okay.
Now I'm Margaret.
Brook, Margaret and Sergi from Stickmen Media. We're talking about the building of our survival horror game After the Light. Sergi yesterday was talking about the building of the crossbow, which was, or the modelling of the crossbow. We're not actually doing the texturing in this one, are we? So the modelling of the crossbow yesterday, and we got not quite halfway through it because we had troubles actually starting the movie. So today we're continuing with the modelling of the crossbow, and we might speed up a few bits here and there because we have the overhead to do so. So I'll start that movie going, and you can tell us what you're up to there, Sergi.
Well, this is when we left it yesterday, so we can see some cylinders for the gas canister. There are different models here. Some of them are just backups that I do in case I screw up something.
Okay, does that happen often?
No, luckily, well, sometimes. But yeah, there is a high poly. In the middle one we have the high poly, and the others are just low poly. This is the...
Oh, you can see the difference there.
Yes. And the last one at the end, I think that it's one of the backup models that I have.
Okay, so the middle one isn't backed up. Just the low poly one's backed up.
Yeah, the middle one was...
So you're totally expecting to screw up the low poly one.
Yeah, it's
charming.
Yeah, just because it depends about what I do. So maybe I just change my technique for something else, and then I have to redo it. So if I have a model that is advanced, then that will be bad for the result.
Okay, I've just noticed we're actually on wireless, so you keep talking. I'm just going to plug this into the network.
Okay.
No pressure.
No.
Oh, so just a few minutes ago when you basically ridiculed me for asking if the other end was plugged in.
Yes, you completely forgot to mention this end.
Oh, but you seem to have it so well in hand. Oh, what a funny irony. It's marvellous.
That may have just taken us off the air.
Fantastic.
Oh, so normally I have a system, you see, and you interfered with the system. I
don't think I did.
You did.
Your system is...
oh no, there we are. Look, it actually recorded everything.
Oh,
We're just running a bit later now.
Oh, what a fantastic time.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sergi.
No. See, it's everything is pretty similar with all the pieces. I'm just dealing with the small cylinders that are, they are just the connectors between the pipe and the cylinder itself.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I'm doing the UV mapping at the same time because this is the low poly. So I'm just unwrapping.
Yeah.
And basically what I do is, if I have very similar models, what I do is duplicate this one, and then I have the other models. So I don't have to do anything. It's just easy because they are just cylinders.
Okay.
With bevel. Beveled cylinders.
And that pipe, I think we were pointing out yesterday, that pipe with its... What's that shading technique called? Garage shading or something? Where it's... you make something look round even though it's actually made of flat surfaces.
Yes, that's for the bevel.
Yeah.
I use the weighted normals. I don't know if I pronounce correct, but weight.
No, I was talking about on the pipes itself, because the pipe itself looks beautifully round, but when you look at the end of it, of course, you can see all the the flat surfaces that it's made up of.
Yeah, well, for the pipe, I just soften the normals.
Yeah.
And and they have a very basic number of vertex. They are not too really high, just maybe, I don't know, just a few. But in this case, what I'm doing here is just converting the high poly that I previously made for this part. I am doing the low poly. So basically I'm making some kind of reducing or manual decimation about what I did. So I'm just reducing everything to a very a lower one, and preparing for the bevel. And
So we can see you stitching it up there essentially.
yes, I'm still using the old tool. It's the window that we can see on top.
Mm-hmm.
That's a static window with different color. That's one of the tools I was using, but now I have a better tool.
So what's that tool?
It's for the weighted normals technique, for the vertex normals and bevel.
What's
and
it called,
everything.
just for the benefit of the viewers?
It's called it's called ADN tools. It's a modeling toolkit. It's a plugin
Okay.
for Maya. So it's basically that's what it is.
How many plugins do you use for Maya?
For modeling, I'm just using this one because it's more essential for hard surface.
Mm-hmm.
For the rest of the things, I have my own shelf with different not plugins, source or scripts that I use, but they are just small scripts that made my life easier for making different things. One of the cool things that Maya has is the ability to have lots of different plugins and things like that allows me to speed the process up a
Mhm.
little bit.
Nice.
So yeah, as a plugin itself, it's only this one.
Mhm.
It has its windows and everything, but I use some different code, yeah, scripts.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm just preparing for bevel.
I have to say it's fascinating just watching the things being stitched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So zipping it up all the way along the...
It's just one of the multiple processes that you have to do with one model. And here I'm just seeing how the vertex, the normals are projecting and the shading, if it's correct or not.
Mhm.
If I have any
Oh,
artifact.
so that's why we're swapping backwards and forwards between the geometry view, the lines essentially
Yeah,
on the
this-
thing, and just the
yes.
flat body.
Yes,
flat surface.
I had with this tool. I had lots of problems with this model for the normals because I was not getting the result I was expecting. So that's what made me change the tool later. That we will see another tool, and I will surely have to make different changes to this piece just for the vertex normals positions.
So I guess that's something for the new players at home. What do you do when you get stuck on something like this, when you have a problem?
First of all, I just stop.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important just to stop and think about what I have and what I want to
Think about what you've done.
what I have. Yes, as well, past, present, and future. So just stop and think exactly what's going on, because if not, you just start making lots of things and
Mhm.
you end up with nothing. So what I do is that's the first step. After that, I see if I have the correct tool to accomplish what I want to do. If not, I see then if I have any other software available at the moment, if I can do that. If
Yeah.
Maya, it's more tricky for Maya or something like that.
So think through your current tool set essentially.
Mhm.
Is
Yes.
there something that can help?
Yes. Yes. So in this case is when I decide to change to another kind of tools, and we will see it. We will see that window disappear, and we will see another one.
I guess if you don't know what you're making problems. So
Yeah.
that's the important thing
Oh,
about
that's
stopping.
profound, that is.
You have to know exactly what you are doing and just relax.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just making with the normals. I'm harden some edges and soften other edges, and working with the bevels because we already have the bevels in that model. So yeah, but I had all the time I was having the same problem over and over. That's the reason we see this piece a lot, because I didn't get the result I wanted to get. It looks fine,
Mm-hmm.
but there are some minor artifacts with vertex normals that had to be address for be perfect.
Okay, so you've basically got it back in place now and you're looking at other stuff, so I'm assuming this is one of
Yeah.
those things where
Yeah.
just taking a break from it to
Yes, yes.
get it right in your head.
I had to stop that piece and move to another one, and in the meanwhile my mind will start thinking what to do with that. But then I can move on and keep working other pieces. In this case, the top of the trigger area.
Mm-hmm.
There is some kind of metal part with more metal.
Actually, I guess one of the things we should do is, I guess we showed it yesterday, the actual concept art that Lincoln did to for this piece. But I'm thinking what we should do once you've finished texturing it is we should show the concept art and then the actual finished piece, so people can see just how close you managed to get to the finished to the original concept.
At the end of the video, that's what I put the image on.
Okay.
on
At the end of
Well,
this video or at the
that's-
end of the next one?
This video.
Fucking
Okay.
awesome then.
Yeah. I was thinking.
Excellent.
You
Thinking
were
like
thinking.
a like
You
a
were
I was
producer
thinking
there.
for the first time. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Upstairs for thinking.
Hmm?
Profound, profane, profound.
Oh yeah. Well, it wasn't profane yet.
No. But we know what the other the other end of that saying is.
Yeah, downstairs for dancing.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Or
It's not
dancing.
Not at all rude.
No. God, no. God. What the fuck?
Sorry, I know another version of that.
God, how awful.
Hmm.
I've never heard another version.
Yeah, fibber.
Oh,
You
that's,
probably invented the other version.
that's just insulting.
All right.
This is a low poly trigger with bevel.
I'm intrigued by those gaps that Lincoln put in the thing to sort of make it all work out right at the edge of the trigger guard, and where was the other one? There's another gap as well that you had to do. Oh yeah, the top left hand corner of the.
Yeah.
Is the trigger guard deep enough to support your hand? Because you're only going to be able to kind of do this with it, aren't you? When you get your finger through, you want to be able to hold on to it with both hands to steady it.
Generally, you only need that tip of your finger in
No,
the
the trigger guard. What do you do with the rest of your hand? You're kind of going like that.
Oh.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, you'd be yeah.
But what are you holding with this hand?
Usually the back of the stock.
But can you?
Maybe in this position.
That's where the reach has got to be. Yeah. So you need to be able to reach forward from the back of the stock to the.
But can you? That's
Trigger?
my point.
It's a very good point, and I can't tell from this angle. Guess we'll find out when we try to get the guy to hold it.
Just a thought.
Yeah. A troubling thought now.
I
That
know,
will
I
obsess
just
me
dropped
for a
that
while.
in there. Nobody's going to sleep all week.
Yeah, I think it's possible. Just putting the hand and yeah.
So one of the things we do, of course, because these are modelled characters and they don't feel any pain, is we can break their fingers, push them into new positions where they can't actually fit.
Such fun.
I think we actually had, because we had Elias in that's the player character. There's a guy called Elias, and we actually had him in a movie trailer that we did for the Toy Maker series, and he's supposed to draw his rifle from a scabbard on his back. So he's got his holster on the back for his rifle, and when you actually try it in real life, you cannot get a rifle clear of that holster. So
Well, you'd have to reach fairly well down it, wouldn't you?
yeah, we essentially just deformed his shoulder to make it all work. Of course, that's not ideal. Ideally, you want something that follows, reference where people did it for you. But since we didn't have a rifle and holster available to us at the time, we winged it, essentially. And yeah, discovered difficulties. These happen
Arms were too
all the
short
time. This is
from-
video game development, these things happen all the time. Alright, so we're connecting up another gas tube here.
Yeah.
So what's this gas tube actually drive?
Another useless gas. I don't know what's exactly doing.
So I think we need one to actually drive the reloading.
Yeah, and this one is connected to the upper part of the trigger. To this
right.
side. I don't know, maybe it's the...
So it's one to rotate the canister and one to actually draw back the bow, I think, is the two gas sources we actually need.
Yeah.
And drawing back the bow would probably take the most amount of gas. That's where the most force has got to be put in.
Mm.
So this one's probably just for rotating the canister.
Yeah, something like this.
There we are, we figured it out, Sergi.
Yeah.
Getting the engineering straight. So again, at the very ends of that pipe, you can see the flat surfaces that made up the pipe, even though it looks round when you're looking at it from other directions.
Yeah, that's because you are looking at the opposite side of the normal, so you have the normal just in front. But yes, it is just a small cable.
Nicely smoothed out there.
That sounded so incredibly Australian. Say that again?
Nicely smoothed out there, Blue.
Yeah, that's right. Nicely smoothed out.
I didn't say that at all.
Yeah, you did. Nicely smoothed out. Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, a few twists in it. What's our pipe actually made of? Is it actually copper or brass?
Yes,
What is it?
yes, brass or copper. Yeah, one of those. It's very yellow, so I think it's maybe brass.
Okay. Brass is good. Yeah, so again, that's another asymmetrical thing because it's not coming off the other side.
No, just this side.
And I do like the asymmetrical things. So.
Mm.
Well, clearly not for building this thing. That'd be a pain in the backside if it was all asymmetrical, but certainly for the finishing touches to just make it look a little more realistic.
Yes, and now I move to another piece. It's the cylinder, that one.
Mm-hmm.
That's too low poly from my point of view. So I just made another one with some more divisions. It's the same shape, but more rounded and more healthy. And so yes, and using some bevels. You can see the tool is different now. Have you seen the bevels?
Right,
It
yes,
changed
okay.
completely.
So what's the tool we're using now?
It's a very similar tool to the other one, but this is more complete and has more modeling things for hard surface, and it's more updated for the task I wanted. So this worked pretty well. It took me a while to just get used to it, but it was worth the time.
Okay, so we're about 20 minutes in and we've got to halfway through during the movie, so
Yeah,
I could in fact
you can speed it up.
speed it up just a touch
Yeah.
to see. Oh, I need to go over there. And 1.2 times, that's probably about right. As long as it doesn't get too difficult to actually see what's going on.
No, because everything is pretty similar. So no.
I know we do a lot of repetition, but it does get hard to follow when things move
Yeah.
too fast. So
Yes.
this is why I wouldn't dream of doing one of these things at 12 to 1 because I think people would just miss everything.
Yeah, 12
Oh,
hours.
people would be epileptic.
Yeah.
Well, I would be.
And if I have to speak at the same speed that 12
Yeah.
that
Well,
will
and then
be
the
too
pressure comes
challenging.
on that you'll have to work at that speed.
So what's 3D coat? We're going into 3D coat now.
For UV mapping.
Okay.
It's what I finished with one of the
Holy cow.
objects.
That's
Then
the trigger.
that's the trigger. Yeah. Then I go to UV, and make the UV. Going back to Maya with a new model, replace it or just transfer the UVs to the old piece depending. So yeah, it's saving, sending in Maya, receiving the model, and there is the model. In this case I think that I just transfer the UVs from one to the other. So yes, now the old piece has the new UVs, and now I move to another piece, in this case
Yes.
the one that it's holding the battery or something like a battery.
Not a battery, but yes.
It looks like a battery. It's well, it's like, yeah, I don't know what it is, but looks fine in the crossbow.
Steam powered battery.
Steampunk battery
Yeah.
made of water and
Yeah.
steam. It's the same.
Exactly. Hydro battery.
Yeah.
Freaky.
Like here we can see some UVs corrections inside Maya. The 3D code just didn't like to do that UV correctly, so I just had to tweak it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just a test to see in Substance if the shading is correct with the new tool, so I can see some metal parts with a smart material applied.
Okay.
So I can see a fast texture. And I see, and I realize that with this tool everything looks much better. 3D code now for those metal parts. Again, 3D code, I don't know why there were some shells that were not correctly unwrapped. I had to do it in Maya.
Okay.
And just save it. And I will make the same test. I think I send it to Substance as well. Yes, we replace this one for the other one. I just make some curvature maps and occlusion maps, and well, we can see that the shading is fine.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the process with. This is the same process for all the rest of the pieces now. At least for the pieces that they are finished. Another one here. We can see very fast the
Yeah.
piece.
Makes such a difference when you see the material applied, doesn't it?
Yeah. Look like real metal thing or something.
Yeah, even if it's the wrong material, just having a material applied
Yeah.
certainly breathes a bit of life into the
Yeah,
thing.
sure. So yes, I needed to make this test in Substance for this model because just wanted to make sure that everything was fine. Here we can see some corrections with.
Yeah, stitching up a few things around the edge there.
Your favourite thing.
Yeah, we didn't like that thing, so.
I do like it. It's fun to watch.
And
I'd probably get bored doing it though. It looks like it's tedious. At 4 times speed, it's less tedious.
Oh, the yawny bit of the room is kicking in again.
Yeah. Well, don't nod off.
Oh, it's not me that goes to sleep.
No, it's not.
And I think just transfer from one to another and just sending to Substance so I can see the part in Substance. Shading is correct, so moving on to the next part, and so on, over and over.
So why is that pipe in 3-4 pieces rather than
That's an excellent question, Brookie. I'm glad you asked that question.
yeah?
What piece?
So that long pipe, you actually had it as 4 different sets, so it had 4 different colours on it. So it's mapped 4 different places on that.
Yeah, it's cut in 4 parts because it's much easier for the final layout that you can just put small parts in all the layout.
So you can space save on the
Yes.
on the texture.
Exactly, that's it. Because if not, sometimes you end up with a very big shape in the middle of the UV, and that's just causing some layout problems. It's not a very common thing, but if I can break the piece a little bit, I do it. This is the part of the aiming, testing with the tool, so it's going fine. And again, this part goes here, so we can see the UVs unwrap with the magic of 3D code. It's an excellent software for this kind of things.
So yeah, so that's the UV map on the right hand side there.
Yes, we
Essentially showing what what happens when you unwrap that 3D shape into 2D.
in real time. You
Yeah.
see them wrap in real. That's beautiful. It's 3D code made something very difficult to accomplish. That it's making UV and wrap fun,
Mm-hmm.
because usually UVs are tedious. But that's very difficult for a software to accomplish something like that, and it's an impressive software. So yes, more bevels and more using the new tools for making the shading correct and with the normals. And I just feel myself repeating over and over. Because there is not anything else, it's the same process.
Just dying a little
but
inside.
for people, each piece is another discovery, so they haven't seen it before. No doubt you've been bored by it, having to do each bit over and over. But yeah, so working on the site of the thing.
And the substance, just to see the shading, if it's correct in substance, we will see that it is. Now apply the material, bake the usual maps, and we see everything shade, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And moving on to the next piece. Now it's for this one. I just delete one half of that piece. Surely I'm making something important. And duplicate the piece, match the vertex, prepare the levels. I'm communicating with myself from the past.
Mm-hmm.
Just talking with him now.
Yeah.
We are having conversation.
Don't have any arguments with him though.
I have a coffee and I know how to use it.
And also a significant limb library.
Yeah, I can bring some of those things if you want here.
Yeah, thank you. As a
Physically.
warning.
I suspect the other you is going to do what he wants to do, and he won't listen to a thing you have to say about it. Actually, has that happened yet when you're streaming? You look at something and think, oh, I cocked that up. Has that happened? Have you had to go back and say, oh, I better go and fix that?
Yeah, it happens more often than you can expect. So yeah.
I see. So this is actually a good practice, streaming this stuff out. We pick up mistakes.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I'm
Added
jumping
benefit.
from one object to another. Just keep it cooling and go back later. Yeah. And this piece was a little bit tricky with the vertex normal, but we can see how I'm correcting all the normal
Mm-hmm.
and for the bevels, and looks shiny and smooth and beautiful and perfect. No, not perfect, but nice.
Yeah.
At least better than Maya's do it by default. So and there it is, ugly UVs, and now we change those UVs to something more practical for texturing and real-time rendering.
Yeah. So I guess we've sort of explained the things you can do with normal mapping previously, but for those that don't necessarily know what the theory behind normal mapping is, the normal is generally perpendicular to a surface, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's so. Normally, if you're looking at a surface of something, the normal is perpendicular to it, and around that normal, when light hits the surface, it will bounce off in an equal and opposite direction around that normal.
Correct.
So when we want to make the surface look like it's got more detail,
Mm-hmm.
we can take some of the normals and actually move them a little bit. So if we kept moving them progressively like that, we would create what appears to be a curved surface when light actually hits it.
Yes.
And I guess we spend a lot of time doing that to add detail to something where we can't afford the polygons,
Mm-hmm.
but we really want something to look intricate and detailed.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's my sciencey explanation for the day.
Sciencey.
Sciencey.
You're going to have to come
What
up
was
with
the one
something
you made
sciencey at least once a day.
You made one up at lunchtime that was really good.
Oh, obviously it's not as good because I can't
It wasn't
remember.
sciencey, but it was.
No. It was too forgettable.
No, you added ER to the end of something that normally you wouldn't.
Now for the aim circle.
Ah, yes.
So yeah,
So
changing
the iron sight with its
eyesight,
circle, yeah.
exactly. So the other one was too low poly. And this is something that the player will see very close.
Very close up,
So
yeah.
we need to give some roundness and
Yeah.
more beautiful.
So, yeah, one of the things you pointed out yesterday was, because normally we would be looking at things that are right in front of the player's eye and trying to put the most detail in there. But of course, in virtual reality,
Yeah,
they can just have a look at any angle of that weapon, so we
I
can't.
tend to do that.
We don't really concentrate on just doing the back end of things anymore. We actually have to
Exactly.
sort of look all over the place. But in this case, the sight is something where we're deliberately directing your eye to, so we have to make sure that looks perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah. It wouldn't do to have it look like it's made like an octagon or something.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
very polygonal. So yeah, those little pieces are a little bit tricky because they have a gap between them, and they are
Yes.
separate pieces that you have to duplicate and put them one and the other at the same spot. So I mean, just in a row. And yeah, but the idea about that is just having one and grab that one and then duplicate and put it in the same row. What I do here is just the string, just put the string together and merge everything so that we can have just a single piece. I was discussing this with Linda, how she preferred to have this string,
Mm-hmm.
and we end up talking about doing these loops and with a middle loop in the center,
Yeah.
and some other loops.
So Linda's our animator, so anything that's got to move, like this string, generally we need her buy-in on what we're planning to do. Now zip up that string.
Everything connected. So yeah, now time to sew like an old lady.
Again, the Spanish accent there makes that interesting. Sew.
Sew
It
is
would
not
actually
sew.
be sew.
So. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
S-E-W.
S-E-W. Yeah.
The English language is a bastard, really, isn't it?
Sue is more like legal things, right? It's
Yeah, so S-U-E if you're going to sue somebody in court. Yeah,
okay.
Or you might know somebody called Sue.
indeed, it's a name as well.
Ah, yeah. Sure.
S-E-W, which should be just sue as it is in stew,
Stew.
because
Yeah.
stew is S-T-E-W, so
Okay.
S-E-W should be sue, but it's not. It's so, just because
So.
English is a bastard.
Yeah, it's. I was talking with Matt before
Mm-hmm.
about two words that it's more or less the same, but they are pronounced completely different.
Yep.
It's tomato and potato.
Oh, yeah.
Tomato, potato. It's the same for me, but in English, change completely the pronunciation about the other one.
Unless you're American, in which case it's tomato and potato.
Potato. It's potato and tomato, right?
Yeah, in America, though, it's tomato and potato.
Ah, tomato. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But everywhere else, it's tomato and potato.
It doesn't
Yes.
make sense.
Nah, so does not. It's ridiculous.
just for those confused by the song, nobody says potato.
No, they do not.
Okay.
Right. No, there's English is one of those things. I think the thing that confuses kids a lot when they get into it in spelling in primary school is the difference between through, which is Throughh, enough,
Yeah.
Enoughh. What's the other one?
Though.
Though.
Yeah.
So they're all different sounds for exactly the same sets of letters.
Plough.
Plough, yeah.
Wow.
All O-U-G-H, different sounds.
Yeah.
That's strange. In Spanish, or at least in Spanish, you have A, B, C, D, E, F, everything,
Mhm.
but it's pronounced as it is pronounced in the alphabet. I mean, it doesn't change the letters.
Yeah.
That's something that melts my mind.
So you were bringing up Russian, which, as everybody knows, is almost English.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck off.
Yes.
I did not claim that.
Where,
I did claim that there were some similarities,
but there's some
more than you might think.
the names of the letters not being the sounds of the letters, very much more pronounced in Russian than in English, where they have a letter called ikraktia. Ypsilon, which I think is from the Greek, so maybe Russian's closer to Greek. Because you wonder if Ypsilon is close to Epsilon.
I don't know, I wouldn't want to make too many sweeping generalisations based on that.
Oh, why not? We're on the air.
True enough. Knock yourself out.
Okay. Okay, so Enter Dreamland just sent us a comment that says, check my tag on Twitter. So, you're the Twitter monkey?
Yep.
Monkey.
I've gone and checked Enter Dreamland's tag.
And what's his tag say?
Well, I can't find it now. But, nothing that I understood. So,
I don't know.
what do I need to be checking Enter
Yeah.
Dreamland? What are we looking at?
What are we checking Enter Dreamland? We're a little confused.
In the
Nothing
meantime-
yet, but of course we're waiting for him at least a few seconds behind us before he actually hears what we just asked.
In the meantime, we're working with the cocks, aren't we?
Ah, yeah.
Now called cogs.
Yes.
Ugh.
They're actually pulleys, but
Oh,
The pulley.
there we go.
yeah. So this is how the string is actually connected to the bow.
Yes.
Ah, okay, Enter Dreamland with you now. Thank you.
What does he say?
It's a long story, but it's cool.
All right, a long and interesting story? No?
Not so much. Well, yes, but not for now. Oh my god, just attend to the fucking stream.
A long and filthy story. then.
No, not even slightly.
Fair enough. All right, so something not suitable for on air, clearly.
Oh god.
So what are we doing now, Sergi? Before
Yes,
irritate Margaret anymore?
we are in the front of the
I'm sure you'll not
crossbow
hold back.
and redoing part of those
Are those
metal parts with the spheres. That it's a little bit tricky from the original concept, but it's a very nice thing to do.
so those rivets? I think they're probably rivets that are actually holding that together.
Tell you what, I'll save this until there's the next lot of dead air.
Okay, and amuse us with it then. Very good.
It's not really amusing, it's interesting.
Okay.
Oh my god, so many preconceptions. It's not dirty, it's not particularly funny.
I save time by preconceiving.
Do you? I had a preconceived idea that you would have plugged the network cable to the laptop, but silly me.
Yes.
Oh dear. Learnt my lesson.
Well, it did happen eventually.
Yeah.
More testing.
All right. Okay. So, putting any material on there to see what that actually looks
Yeah,
like.
I changed to another one. Yeah, and correcting some proportions for that piece that I didn't like the original one
Okay.
that I made because it was too thick. Now it's thinner. I think it's better. Yeah, and working in that.
Having seen this in development, don't you want one? I want one.
One crossbow.
I want one. Yeah.
Yeah. We can always print it in 3D
It's true. We could actually print it.
and make it functional. You can do that.
Wouldn't be fun if it wasn't functional now, would it?
Yeah. Steam powered. Yeah, we've got to work out the engineering behind the steam powered part of it. But
We should 3D
Or
print
the
the zombies
gas-powered
and make
one.
them functional as well.
oh, definitely going to 3D print the zombies, Cross-eyed Joe and the Bony Man and things like that.
Yes, can have something figures like this.
Yeah, no, they can be merch. We need merch for the game, and I think some, what mum doesn't want her 6-year-old to have little dead people that
Yeah, right.
he or she can actually play with.
Okay, so this tweet here to which we're referring,
Mm-hmm.
but you're all very silly, so I've just withheld it until now.
Okay.
Because watching what some people do on webcams these days, I wonder when a company will perfect face grab where it will green screen your face onto the main character of a game. Would probably be hilariously horrible, but worth.
We could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could use that technology that we actually used for Snapper
Yeah.
and capture the face area, because we capture the diamond. We could probably just capture a circular part and put it on any of our characters in the game.
It would be hilariously horrible.
If we created an API and got other people to support it as well, then you'd be able to put your face on characters in multiple games.
Gee, yeah.
That would be interesting. Great idea, Enter Dreamland.
Well, Enter Dreamland passed it on to us, which is very kind.
Yeah. And now we've just given it away, so anybody will go and do it. You just spread the word. Alright, so we're still pulling the bow apart here by the look of it.
Yeah, because I work one of the sides and then duplicate to the other one, so I can just focus on.
Fuck yes!
So,
Fuck
scary
yes.
question here. How many
Focus.
polys does this thing end up being?
The entire crossbow, around 14k triangles, so 7k polish.
7k polys. That's quite high for a weapon, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's more or less the range for this kind of games.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
In Unreal Engine, you can in the
I think the original rifle was like 3k polys, I think.
That's quite low. Yeah. In lots of Unreal games, you can see the weapon usually 20 or 30k triangles,
Wow.
because it's one of the things that you
Yeah.
have in front
The
of
thing you got right in front of you.
so you need to give some detail to that thing.
Yeah, and all the rules around that change now with the,
Hmm.
as we move into things that need to support VR.
Yes, but poly count is not an issue in this case. So,
Well, usually it's not, is it? I mean, there's a lot of people try to save polys, and there are reasons to do it.
yeah, sure.
But the reality is, it's the number of draw calls that actually affects your CPU. So, what's
Yeah.
actually queued up to draw? Often the GPU is very good at weeding out the stuff that's not, it doesn't need to draw.
I tend to be more worried about shaders and things like that. That's something that can be more, more heavy on CPU side.
Yeah.
But not
Especially multi-pass shaders.
yes.
Well, you're going to be diving in and out several times.
But poly count
Multipass.
is not an issue. Anyway, I always try to when I start a model, I always try to say, well, this model, how many polygons will it have?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, for the generic zombies, I knew that for the generic zombies we should have like maybe 10 or 20 zombies at the same time.
Okay.
So I just said, okay, I will use maybe 7k or 8k for the generic zombies, and then I try to reach to that poly count, and that's the poly count we have for the generic zombies. It's around 7k or something like that. But for King Leon, for example, it's a boss. It's the final boss. It's a big one.
You're going to be paying a lot of attention to that guy.
Yes, and
You're not just going to shoot him in the first 30 seconds and
yeah,
that's the end of him. He's
Yeah.
actually going to be around for a whole.
exactly. So and that's it. And it depends about the model, the number of the poly count that I just say. But again, it's not a big issue in today's standards. unless you go extremely crazy and put 2 million polys in a weapon.
Okay.
Multipass, that was the fifth element, wasn't it?
Yes, it was the fifth element. Very good.
Amazing.
I just noticed that we seem to have frozen on stream, so no, we're back. So, and we're actually using hardwired today, so we thought we'd be doing better than that. We didn't have in the last 2 days we haven't had that stream freeze, but it happened today.
Works even better when you plug it in.
It does. It does.
Yesterday I was talking about the engons. Remember that we talked
Yes,
about that?
yep.
Just to clarify something, because within English it's quite difficult to explain to me. But the thing is that when you're using normal maps, you always, what you do is triangulate that shape,
Yep.
and then you can make the normal maps, because it's very important that for normal mapping you don't have any kind of engon at all. That's very, very important. But the reason that using engons in this case in something like this,
Yep.
that doesn't need any kind of normal mapping.
Where's the engon in that?
It's a flat surface, the rounded surface
Ah,
of the
right.
cylinder. It's completely open. I mean, it doesn't have any edges and anything. But the edges will appear when you triangulate that and export it to the game engine.
Yeah.
So the thing is, if you see it right, the shading is correct and everything is fine, and you don't have to bake anything on top. Engons are perfectly fine for that. It's
Okay.
not a problem. So that just wanted to clarify that because it's an important
I
point.
was just thinking that Engon sounds very sort of science fiction-y, weird, and I was thinking then Klingon and Vogon. There's actually a reason that it sounds.
Yeah, I don't know why it's called engon.
Engon is maybe a species.
It doesn't sound anything to me.
There's Engons on the starboard bow, starboard bow, starboard bow.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Anyway, in this case, yes, we can see this is where I just using normal mapping for this part,
Yeah.
and here for the holes that I made in ZBrush. So we will see the result after this. Yeah,
Okay.
anytime. So no.
So once again, we seem to have frozen on that stream again.
Don't worry.
Hopefully, we're going out the right way without those delays.
There it is. As you can see, I triangulated the shape before exporting to X normal, and then I can use it for normal mapping. You can see the normal.
Ah, yes.
There it is. Everything is triangulated. Where there was, it used to be an engon, now it is not there. So we can see the final result, but there's the engon. But now we will see how the normal map is applied and the shading is correct. Because the calculation was made based on triangles, not quads, and not engons, of course.
Okay.
So we can see the result that it's the engon, it's still there, but the calculation was made with the triangles.
Yeah. Perhaps somebody who's watching us could tell us if we've got problems with the stream, because from our end it looks like we've stalled. Okay, so let's assume we haven't stalled.
Well, if we have, then they probably can't contact us. Duh.
Well, I know, so we won't get an answer.
Exactly.
So it's that absence of answer will tell us if something's wrong.
Or not.
Or not, because could be that nobody wants to answer.
Maybe someone is using YouTube.
Well, that's what I suspect. Somebody's actually streaming over there, and it's streaming YouTube or something
Well,
like that.
I'm going to go and find out.
And it's causing a problem for us. Yeah. So, what are we doing here? I noticed things disappearing on the...
Yes, because this is where I combine the two techniques about the normal map and the weighted normals.
Okay.
Normal map, this is the normal map, so the rest of the flat surface, I don't need it, so I just delete it in Photoshop.
Okay.
Because that it looks fine without any kind of normal mapping. But as I want the bevel edges, I will apply the technique together with the normal map, so we can see that I am beveling now with the tool, So we have the normal map for the holes and the correct bevel for the rest of the surface using the other techniques. So it's
What's going on here? Yeah, man. Go on. I just read it to you.
Yeah, what's going on here? So that's from somebody.
So we are streaming the development of a game called After the Light, and this is the crossbow. Sergi's talking us through the modelling process of the crossbow, for
Indeed.
which we will, by which means we will perforate zombies.
Yes, we will perforate zombies. Most importantly, we'll perforate zombies quietly with this crossbow, and that was the need for which it was created, a silent weapon, especially for sniffer zombies, which will be able to hear you and sniff you out. So we need to be able to shoot things quietly without giving away our position. Cool. Thank you. Who is that? Sixth Official? Yeah, is that one of those names that, you know, if you say it without thinking about it, that actually turns out to be dirty? I thought it was for a sec, but it doesn't.
Possibly if you do.
It isn't.
You're Australian.
Came across one the other day on a channel which was, I don't know, it was something with P in it anyway, but it was... didn't actually realise when you read it, but then when you... Oh, P fetish.
Oh no. Oh dear, oh dear. Awkward.
Came across the name P fetish.
Well, you don't know, maybe they did mean it.
The person was very careful, the person who was actually streaming was very careful not to actually say it, so...
No, it's good. Excellent.
Excellent.
How long have you guys been working on the game? When did we start on this? About October, November last year?
Mm-hmm.
So it's part-time, but with how many guys on it?
Yes, well, we started some of the... I think we started the concept art in October last year. I don't think we actually... thanks for the follow, Six Official. I don't think we actually started development on the game till January this year. So we actually started doing the caves and all the rest of it. And we're about 60% of the way through the generation of art things. We're trailing a bit in the programming, but so you'll have seen lots of, if you have a look at our YouTube repository of our past broadcasts, or have a look at the videos here, you'll see that we've got lots of art stuff that we've actually streamed, and not so much programming stuff, but very shortly you'll see a lot of activity in programming as they run to catch up. Yeah. So where are we up to now, Sergi?
Well, I'm just finishing with the rest of the model, just working on the drum.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, because the drum has different small cylinders and small pieces that I just had to work separately.
Okay. So we might actually have to go and speed that up a bit.
Yeah.
Just because I noticed
What's the time?
where...
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There we go.
Fast.
Because we've only got about 7 minutes left, and yet we've still got a ways to go at the end of that.
By the end I may have fried my brain and melted down, however, from the speed.
Yeah.
This is reasonably difficult to watch.
Well, yes, one could have a fit trying
Not
to
sure
actually
what one
follow
is
this.
particularly learning from this, but see if we can talk us through what's
So
going
we're back on
at
the
high
UVs
speed.
at the moment, right?
Yeah, it's the same part of the pipeline going with all the pieces.
So on the right hand side you've got the UVs, on the left hand side you've got the coloured. You've got the UV
the shades.
colours, colour shades, basically showing you what's mapped to what on the 2D representation of the 3D object.
Correct.
Not at all complicated.
Not terribly.
It's actually really taking the piss, but
Yeah.
there's an opportunity for you to condescend if you like.
Oh, very good. No, Margaret. What's happening here?
No, not really.
And this is the nightmare piece, the last one. One of the. Remember, I told you that I was quite frozen with this piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have your own game engine, or no? We're using Unreal
Yeah.
for this game.
This is actually our first big project in Unreal, so And we're finding it a really interesting game engine to use because the artists get to participate a lot more in level building and level design than they previously have done. So the artists actually know the engine, and previously Sergi was about the only artist that knew the engine when we were using Unity. Alright, so this is the piece that had you stumped, and now you're fixing it.
Yes, it was a little bit tricky because of how it was made, and the inner parts and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I had some issues with the vertex, but yeah, just figured out that it was something stupid that I was doing. But no, it was fixed really quickly, and that was fine. But yeah, it was quite interesting. Everything at the end looked really well.
Mm-hmm.
So this piece was just giving me some more war than usual.
So we've actually, so is this where the string travels through? Is that what we're looking at?
I want some.
Is that where the string actually travels through, that groove that we're looking at?
Yes. That hole is where the string goes projected and the bolt. So the theory behind this is that the drum rotates, put the bolt,
Mm-hmm.
string, and bolt goes out by a hole that I will do after this.
Okay. I was going to say there's nowhere for it to go at the moment.
Yeah, no.
So this crossbow is just going to shoot itself.
Yes.
So we've got another, relating to that, we've got another question. What is this, some kind of automatic crossbow?
It is a gas-powered crossbow, so the
Bingo.
reloading and string drawing is done by a gas canister at the back of the crossbow, so sort of steampunky weapon. We were trying to make it work on steam, but we can't think of a way you'd actually heat that canister.
Well, we could. It's just you'd heat the user at the same time.
But you'd need like atomic energy to heat that canister enough to make the steam
Something
drive
very
it.
common.
It's funny how we can't possibly believe in that, but we can believe in zombies.
Yes, well, the zombies are real in the game, whereas atomic energy was not.
I know, we just cannot buy them. I find that phenomenally interesting.
Okay, I think I'm just fixing with the vertex normal now.
Okay.
I'm not sure. More or less. No, I'm just still playing with some loops.
Okay, let's see if we can speed it up even further.
Oh God, no! Please, can we just fast forward?
We can do that too.
This is not working well for me.
This is my normal speed.
God, life must be hell for you when you have to slow down to keep up with us ordinary folk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that there's much to be gained watching it at this speed.
All right.
It's really
So
fucking
what's
with
the
my head.
last stage if we actually slow down that speed and take ourselves towards the end? We'll just scrub through because we're about
Please.
1 minute to finishing.
Mm-hmm. So the last thing is, well, this is one of the last pieces, and I have a couple of more pieces that they are simple.
Okay,
So
scrub through right to...
Oh God.
these are the last pieces. So we are finishing this one. Now is the vertex normal. Thing
yes.
With the weight that, as you can see, I'm
We're
correcting.
still at the wrong speed.
I'm correcting the
No, we're not.
the
Oh.
normals,
We are.
making
Okay,
them
so
shade
yeah, so
better.
rounding it out very
Mhm.
nicely.
Yeah, I previously made the bevels. Now I'm just weighting the normals.
I can't see anything that's going on here.
Yeah.
Can we slow it down?
I
can't
need.
see anything.
I really need the weekend.
Okay.
I don't see anything. Too.
That's
No.
0.9, 0.8. How slow do you want it? Given it's going to make the stream run longer.
Oh well, that's how that is.
Yeah.
Uh,
Pointless having it on time, but not possible to watch. Do you think?
Perhaps so.
Yeah, I reckon. I really do think so.
Yeah, we can see a good shading now. And,
Oh, I'll definitely follow you guys. Where are you guys located?
Thank you, man.
Yeah, so as Enter Dreamland just said, we're from Christchurch, New Zealand. So, which I even think I said with a New Zealand accent.
No, you didn't.
It was sort of New Zealand.
My Kiwi accent.
Your Kiwi accent, yeah.
Yeah. You are the most Kiwi.
Yes. Yes, I know.
One of us is a faux Kiwi.
Right.
You're sort of an Australian in Kiwi clothing, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Australian. So I'm the guy that actually uses the vowels in the correct way. So.
Oh, Carl, God, okay.
And this is one of the last pieces
Okay.
where I made the hole finally, as you can see.
Ah, yes. Okay, so you finally got the hole in the thing.
Yeah.
So now the bolt can actually come out.
Yes, now it can come.
Very good.
It's
Useful.
yeah.
That's going to be a lot better.
So, yeah, we're thinking of 3D printing this this crossbow. Anybody interested in 3D printed crossbows?
Functional 3D printed crossbow.
And 3D printed zombies.
And 3D printed zombies.
All functional.
Yes, Six Official. If you're watching another time, you'll get to see some of our zombie characters, or have a look at some of the previous streams. We have some great zombies. King Leon in particular. Yeah.
Okay, so where we're at. We're stitching up
Yeah.
This is the very last piece.
on the eye pokey part.
Very last piece.
It's just there for stabbing people.
I love the taser idea. I can't get away from that. I think it's a
Yes.
great taser.
So we should slow this down again. So at the very
Please, that
end,
would be amazing.
we're going to see the actual, because you've got the concept art at the end of this, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I put it on the side.
How many seconds have we got it of that?
I don't know.
I'll be ready to freeze it as soon as
You're
it
streaming
pops
around
up.
this time. Usually, I'm from Sweden, kind of late here at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we always we're streaming at so we're just finishing our hour, so we always stream at exactly the same time every weekday in New Zealand. So that's 1 p.m. New Zealand time. So that's 12. What is it? No, UTC, plus 12.
plus 12.
Yeah.
On the weekend, though, you can probably see us stream Margaret and I learning how to play PUBG. With Enter Dreamland, hopefully, if that's still on, Enter Dreamland. So that should be comical, because although I've had a couple of goes,
Because everybody but Enter Dreamland is crap.
I don't think I've killed anybody. I know I haven't killed anybody at all. I've managed to survive for long periods of time, but I've not killed anybody. So
In
that
real
should be
life,
at the
or-
very least comical. All right, so, yeah,
So yeah.
putting the pointy bits on.
Yes, it's pretty close to end. So that was the last, that 30 minutes I needed last
Yeah.
time. So the UVs for the
Yeah, well, that's pretty simple.
yes.
I guess they're tiny.
These are one of the simplest pieces. So
Yeah.
the body of the crossbow was the.
So when do you think we'll have video of the texturing of this thing, so we can see the texture? When do you think you'll be ready for that?
I'm with the UV layout at the moment, but I will start texturing next week.
Okay,
There it
very
is.
good. There we go.
But if you can just play it again, so we can see maybe there is some time with this. If you
Okay.
How old are you guys? How old are you?
no, something like that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we can see the finished crossbow and the original concept art for the crossbow. Or when I say finished, this is untextured yet, so it's not
Yeah.
got the colouring or materials that it will have. But yeah, this is essentially what we're working to build.
Yeah, I'm 23. Yeah, we're a little bit older than that.
Yes. I remember 23. Vaguely, back in the distance past. I myself am, 59.
I'm not.
No. Margaret is not 59.
No. Sergi's not 59 either.
No.
Sergi's probably closer to the 23 then.
More or less.
Well, it's certainly closer than me.
16, more or less.
All right, so that's about it for today. So thank you everybody for stopping in and having a look at us developing the crossbow for our game After the Light, our zombie
You
survival
remember
horror.
what that is?
I nearly forgot the name of the game. That's how old I am.
Oh my god. It's been nice chatting with you.
Yeah, been nice chatting with you. We'll catch up with everybody on Monday, New Zealand Standard Time at 1 p.m. That's UTC plus 12. And we not sure if we'll be doing more on the crossbow or if we're probably doing something else at this stage. Probably
Yes.
have a break from this.
Mhm.
Maybe we can even have another design session, because I think the design sessions are really good.
Mhm.
So bye for now, everybody, and we'll catch you on Monday.